Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new video. My name is LoFit. I do educational content like these tip guides, and then also just regular base guides for champions, and then also opposition reports where I go over how to defeat certain types of champions. And I'm also starting to stream every night at about 6:30 Pacific time. And yeah, so let's just go over a couple things before I get into the tips real quick. If you want to contact me directly and ask me specific questions about Poppy or about any of my other videos, I'm going to leave a Discord link and a Twitter link in the description. So yeah, you can contact me through that or just comment on the video. I'm always checking those out as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So a huge part of Poppy's kit, particularly in lane, is her E wall stun, and I want to go over a couple different ways you can enable this and make it so you can catch up with your enemy and get them with the wall stuns. First up, probably the easiest way to do it, to set it up, is just with the Q slow and then walk to the side, because you are going to be moving at a higher pace, so you'll get the angle that you need. Also, you can enable it, of course, with your ult, with the snap, and then with the snap ult allows you to stun at any time. It doesn't make them invulnerable like it used to, and it also gives you the amount of time you're going to need to flank around and get the stun. And of course, we can just do the W speed up to get the wall stun, and then finally the flash. So if you're struggling to get these wall stuns, people, just try and use these different kind of combinations. The best way to guarantee a wall stun, if you say you have a gank coming and you really just want to guarantee the kill on your lane opponent, would be the smash and then into the stun. That was really slow. Alright, so it'd be like okay, one more try. Let's get God damn. And then into the wall stun. Sorry, it took me a couple times. I haven't played in a little bit. So yeah, those are the different ways you can enable Poppy's wall stun. If you found another cool way, I know something like Youmuu's could help you get the speed up and increase your ability to get the wall stun. Let me know in the description or in the comments down below, and that will wrap up number 1. Alright, now this tip is going to be a little bit different for number 2. It has to do with the range of your Q ability that is out of any melee champion's auto attack range. So the best way, in my opinion, to use your Q here is to hit them when they're running at you looking for a trade, get them with the Q, and then run back. They either have the choice of just taking that initial damage and backing off and you win the trade, or them to keep running at you and get hit by the second part of the Q. Either way, you're going to get an extremely good trade. So always make sure to use the long range of the Q that is out of any melee champion auto attack range, and just use it in that effective way where you're going to punish them at the most possible if they are chasing after you. Alright, and let's jump right into number 3. Now this is not really going to be any micro type of play on Poppy. This is more just an overall philosophy that you should be taking into your games. If you're against a very squishy champion that you feel comfortable laning against, Electrocute can be a great rune setup to enable you to get kills with Poppy's extremely high base damage in the early levels. With your increased auto attack range buckler, that also adds bonus magic damage, and your percentage health damage on your Q and your E, getting that double E proc. She does a huge amount of damage, and when you combine that with an Electrocute, you are able to cheese out a lot of kills. So Electrocute can be a great way for you to snowball the early game, but again, Electrocute isn't going to be the most effective rune into tanks. You might be able to cheese out some with low base HP and armor and magic resist, but I wouldn't recommend taking Electrocute into tanks. This is more for an aggressive lane setup where you're really trying to kill the opponent. Now, another really good rune for Poppy is actually Summoner Aerie, where you're taking very long trades against enemies. Usually this is going to be against tanks, where it's going to allow you to just really proc it a bunch of times. And the sorcerer tree is actually really good on Poppy with celerity, increasing your movement speed, and has synergy with your W, and can really help you even get in a better position for your wall stun. So really look to take advantage of the enemy team comp and what you're trying to do in that early lane phase, and that is how you should pick your runes. Also, Poppy does have a pretty low base HP and overall just scaling HP. She's probably on the lower side of average, and so Grasp of the Undying can really help you build up your low HP pool. That also scales really well with your Buckler, because that you're going to get a bigger shield with the more health you get. That was one of the biggest things actually Riot nerfed when Poppy was really crazy strong, and it was 100% pick pan and pros in the pro games. So really look to, when you want to tank up a lot on Poppy, make sure you're getting health items, because you are getting a lot of resist out of your W already, and it's doubled even more when you're in a low percentage health. So just make sure to get tanky items with health as well. Obviously, if you want to go a more offensive build, you can go Iceborne Gauntlet. That is a great pick, but just be cognizant that it isn't the most effective tanky item on Poppy, just because the scaling Poppy gets with health is really big with her passive. Alright, and let's just jump right into number 4. Now, I'm just going to go over the priorities that you should be looking at when you're in a team fight. The utmost important thing, and the reason why Poppy is such a great pick right now and separates her from the other tanks in the current meta and other bruisers, is her abilities to stop divers, which are very prevalent in this meta, and also to stop the ADCs with mobility like Lucian. So your first course of action in team fights is to identify who is going to be diving and trying to kill your squishy backline, and when they use that mobility spell, when that Talon uses his ult and looks to Q in, make sure you are having your W ready for that. So that should be your number 1 priority. Always be thinking about that, because that is going to enable your team so heavily. Really look to make sure to get the most out of your W. It's also very effective against things like Lee Sin, Zac, and Xin Zhao. So I cannot stress this enough. Get good at your W. Keep practicing your W. Keep practicing the timing on your W. Your second priority in the team fights is, if you have your ult up, to try and separate the enemy team as much as possible with your ult. Try and knock as many away as you can to give your team fight a numbers advantage. Usually it's better to knock away the tanks so you can go and bum rush the squishies that do not have a frontline peeling for them. So always make sure you're trying to use your hammer at the end if you are not diving in and you're just trying to do a front to back team fight. If you have a good team comp for that, you should really be looking to knock someone away. And then third, you should be looking just for the wall stun on a squishy and jumping in after you've used your W and R in an effective way. So these are the 3 things I think you should really look to identify and get really good at in team fights. Alright, let's jump right into Poppy's last tip that I can give to you guys. One of her biggest strengths is her flexibility in her build path. Obviously, this is a troll build that I have there. I just wanted to see what it would do against target dummies, but really look to build for the game state that you're in. If you are looking to split push, you're destroying your enemy laner, and you think you can take a lot of towers down, a Triforce build into Asterix, or maybe even something more with more wave clear, like something like Sunfire to give you the AoE damage. You can really build for what your team needs. Say the enemy team has a bunch of burst damage, they have a LeBlanc, they have like a Quinn, they have a Fizz, they have Jhin, so they don't really have too much consistent damage going out. You could go really burst resistant items like Sterix, like Ma, like Gargoyle's Stoneplate if you want to be a bit safer. Also, if you're struggling a bit and you just really need to really recover from your laning phase, just go tank. Just go straight tank and just try and be more effective in the team fights than your opposing laner. And then finally, you can even go, say your ADC is just popping off 8-0 out of lane. You could go things like Zeke's, you could go things like even Knight's Vow. You're not going to be the tankiest, but you're going to really augment that ADC to really just empower him to carry the game. So look to fill in the weaknesses of your team and emphasize the strengths, and you're just going to get so much out of Poppy and her flexibility of build path. Now that's going to wrap up my video. I appreciate you guys coming out and watching it. If you have any questions about Poppy, I love talking Poppy, so let me know in Discord or let me know in the comments, and I will get straight to your questions. And if you enjoyed the content, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always guys, take it easy.